have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. I mean, she made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with JJ LaSelva. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Thursday night where we kick off Week 16 of the National Football League. And boy, it's a big one. In the AFC West and the AFC playoff picture, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Denver Broncos. I believe the way things stand right now, if the AFC playoffs started today, the Denver Broncos at 9-5, I believe, would have one of the wild cards. The Los Angeles Chargers at 8-6, I believe, would have the final wild card. A Charger win tonight all but ends things for all the 6 and 8 teams, like the Indianapolis Colts, a couple other teams as well. So it is a gigantic game tonight in the AFC playoff picture. And if you look at the AFC playoff picture, you look at this week's games, Houston, Kansas City is another big one. All right, so in the AFC, if the playoffs started today, of course they don't, but bear with me. That's what we always have to say. If they started today, Kansas City would have the bye. Your 2 versus 7 matchup would be 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it'd be the Chargers at the Bills. Your 6-3 would be the Broncos at the Steelers, and your 5-4 would be the Ravens at the Texans. So, again, Denver is the 6th seed currently. The Chargers are the 7th seed currently. A Charger win tonight would essentially eliminate Indianapolis, Miami, and Cincinnati. Not a lot of intrigue in the AFC playoffs. LA is the 7th seed with 8 wins. The only other 3 teams still alive are those teams I mentioned with 6 wins. So you're not going to have, it looks like you're not going to have a lot of nail biting as far as who's in, who's not come week 17 and week 18. In the NFC, it's a lot more jumbled. Detroit, Philadelphia, and Minnesota have already clinched playoff spots. Green Bay is going to be in. And then you got a lot of questions. So it looks like Washington is probably in pretty good standing at 9-5. But then you have Tampa Bay, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Cowboys, all within 2 games of each other with 3 games to go. So clearly a lot more intrigue in the National Football Conference. But we'll keep you updated on Chargers and Broncos tonight. Kickoff in about 15 minutes out there in the AFC West. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, my buddy Cecil Shorts, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He joins me every week. We'll look back briefly on the loss to the Jets. We'll certainly look ahead to the Raiders. But we'll talk big picture, a little Brian Thomas Jr., a little motivation. Keep in mind, when Cecil played here, he played on some bad Jaguar football teams. What is the motivation for a bad team with only 3 weeks to go before your vacation begins? We'll talk to Cecil Shorts about all that. That comes up in less than 15 minutes. Also, Jesse Simonton, National College Football columnist, will join me to preview the playoff. We are 24 hours away from the 12-team playoff, kicking off with Indiana and Notre Dame. And then, of course, on Saturday, SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, and Tennessee and Ohio State. Some interesting news coming down earlier today. It appears Carson Beck is probably not going to go for the Georgia Bulldogs. That appears to be the direction that it's headed. Again, the winner of tomorrow night's game, Indiana and Notre Dame, plays Georgia in the quarterfinals, and it looks like Georgia may not have Carson Beck. More on that in just a little bit. But every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And JJ LaSelva, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal? No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So many big deals of the night, but I got to ask JJ first and foremost. We broke bread earlier today at a shopping center here in Jacksonville.
We did.
Just happened to run into each other doing a little Christmas shopping. Is the shopping taken care of now on December 19th, or are you still got work to do?
I'm done, but you're like, I'll get a couple little things. This is my deal when I think we're done, and then I come home and I see that my wife has put something else under the tree for me, then it's like pressure to be like, well, now I have to get more stuff than she gets me.
Can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was unsuccessful today in my trip to the Regency Mall. But I won't be back there, but I'll still get something. I'll make my way to Town Center this weekend sometime
You're a brave man.
Yeah, I was about to say like a total sucker.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Yeah,
maybe like Saturday early before the game start, but once noon hits, I'm locked in.
Yeah, my mom, Little Hack, and I were at the food court or the food area there getting Little Hack a snack, and he goes, "Hey, Daddy, doesn't that guy work with you?" And I looked up, and it was JJ. I'm like, hey, what's going on,
Hack's
man?
big. Little Hack's big.
Hey, Little Hack, 5 years old. He's getting after it there in kindergarten there at Christ Church Academy. All right. So this is my last opportunity with you. I'm off tomorrow night. I don't know if you know this, JJ. I'm going to the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
I didn't know, but when I saw that you were off, I took a wild guess.
Hey, it's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas. Little Hack's got to have his Mickey Mouse here in December. So I am off tomorrow night. So this is my last opportunity with you to talk about not only the Jaguars and the Raiders, but by the way, the Florida Gators play a bowl game tomorrow. And you got the college football playoffs. There's a lot to get into. Let's briefly go over each one. If we have an exact replica for the Jaguars of what happened last Sunday, I'd be totally fine with that. Look, I know a lot of people don't want to flat come out and say, I hope they lose. And I'm not going to be that direct with you because I do hope Brian Thomas Jr. puts up great numbers. I do hope Brenton Strange continues to do his thing, and Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington and the young Jaguar offensive playmakers do their thing. I'm rooting for Mac Jones to have a nice game. Defensively, it'd be nice for them to stop somebody, right? That'd be a nice goal. Jarian Jones, Ventrell Miller, Mason Smith, Trayvon Walker, who just turned 24 earlier this week. Would love to see some turnovers. That would be a rare thing. We haven't really forced a lot of turnovers this year. Would love to see that. And give me some entertaining football. Keep me entertained for 3 hours. But if the young guys perform well, like they did against the Jets, and if it's entertaining, like it was against the Jets, and if they lose the game, man, that's not really going to upset me all that much. Again, it sucks where they are in the year, but the reality is losses now are good things because they help your draft stock in April, and they hopefully add fuel to the growing fire that change will happen here in a couple of weeks. What I absolutely did not want to happen after the win over Tennessee was for Jacksonville to rattle off 4 out of 5 or 5 in a row to give Shad Khan any inkling of keeping the status quo here. So the Jets winning last week did not upset me. The Raiders winning on Sunday probably won't upset me if the offensive young guys look good and if it's an entertaining ball game. Now, if Jacksonville goes out there and lays an egg and loses 31-6, well, yeah, I'm going to be ticked about that. But I don't expect that to happen. The Raiders are terrible. They are terrible. And in talking to a couple of guys out in Las Vegas, including our guy, Andy Hill of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Adam Hill of Las Vegas Review-Journal, talked to Adam last night. Look, they want Shedeur Sanders, man. They want Shedeur Sanders in a bad, bad way. The fan base does. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of Raider fans openly rooting for their team to win because a win for the Raiders on Sunday literally may cost them Shedeur Sanders, which would probably not be well received out there. Combined records of 5-23. It is what it is, the Jaguars and the Raiders. And, of course, Leon Searcy and I, Dave Campo is off this week. Good for him. But Leon Searcy and I will have the fifth quarter for you late Sunday evening here on 1010XL, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Raiders go final. Quickly, as far as the Florida Gators tomorrow, they should beat Tulane. They're better than Tulane, and Tulane's had transfer portal issues. The starting quarterback went in the portal. Their two best defensive linemen went in the portal. It sucks for Florida because tomorrow is one of those games, if you win, you're supposed to, If you lose, it's probably a bigger story. So I expect Florida to win. I expect them to have a relatively easy time of it. Again, I wish Tulane was full strength. I wish they wouldn't have not lost guys in the portal, but they did. That's where we are in college football. So give me the Gators tomorrow at the bowl game down in Tampa, a game you'll hear, of course, right here on 1010XL. Quickly, as far as the playoff, give me Notre Dame tomorrow night, although I think that one could be sticky. Indiana, there's a lot of motivation. They're the little brother in that state, and for whatever reason, they haven't played Notre Dame in football since 1991. That's weird. You talk to Indiana people this week, they will tell you Notre Dame's been, quote, ducking them. I don't know why Notre Dame would be ducking Indiana in football, but that's the sentiment from Hoosier fans. So they're all sorts of fired up to get this shot against Notre Dame there in the state of Indiana. But ultimately, give me the Irish to win tomorrow night. Give me Penn State over SMU. I'm not really breaking any news there. Texas is going to win, but it's interesting that no one is giving Clemson a shot. People think this is going to be a blowout. I don't think it's a blowout. I think Texas wins, but I think it's a game in the fourth quarter. And the one I've gone back and forth on is Tennessee-Ohio State. Look, I think Ohio State has more talent than Tennessee. Ohio State's at home. It's going to be cold. The elements are going to be in their favor. But I do wonder where Ohio State is mentally 3 weeks after that loss to Michigan. I do wonder where Ryan Day is mentally, knowing that he's probably coaching for his job Saturday night. If he loses to the Volunteers, he's probably going to be fired. So from that standpoint, I do wonder about the Buckeyes. Having said that, I think they are more talented by a little bit. I think they are at home, and I hate going chalk, right? I like to pick an upset or two, and I've gone back and forth on a couple, but it's hard to find a road team winning. Now, with that being said, it would not surprise me if one or even two road teams won, but I am going to go chalk. As boring as that is, give me all four home teams. Give me Notre Dame, give me Penn State, give me Texas, and give me Ohio State. Should be a heck of a lot of fun. We've been talking about a 12-team playoff forever, and we finally get it tomorrow night with Indiana, Notre Dame, and then the other three matchups coming up with a triple header on Saturday. Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar wide receiver, going to join me in less than 5 or so minutes. Look back on the loss to the Jets, preview the Raiders. We'll also take a look big picture with a former Jaguar wide receiver. Before we do that, we're givers here on Hacker After Dark. It's the holiday season. It's what we love to do, the hard-working men and women of Northeast Florida. Those of you out driving around right now, coming home from dinner, going to work, coming back from work, maybe you had to take the kids to karate or what have you, and you listen to us at 8:12 Eastern Time on a Thursday evening, we appreciate it. And because we appreciate you so much, here's what we're going to do. We have a pair of tickets for you right now to the Jaguars Titans. A week from Sunday, Everbank Stadium, the home finale. If you want to go see Mac Jones take on Mason Rudolph, if you want to go see Jaguars Titans in an AFC South battle, all kidding aside, the home finale here in 2024, simply be caller number. Actually, you know what? Let's do caller 3 in honor of how many wins both teams have. Caller 3, 641-1010, and JJ LaSelva will hook you up with a pair of tickets to Jaguars Titans here in Jacksonville a week from Sunday. Cecil Shorts joins me next. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Pick the winners and be a winner.
Who's a winner?
Make the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park.
I said, who's the winner?
Pick the worst. You'll still win some pizza. It's called the Weekly Pick'em at 1010XL.com.
I got the perfect holiday gift for you. At the Blue Crab House, you spend $50, you get a $65 gift card. $50 and you get $65. Bam, the pressure's off. Located right off of San Jose on Jillington Creek Road, open every day until 9 except for Monday. Get rid of the stress of holiday shopping right now at the Blue Crab House. Spend $50 $50 and get a $65 gift card. Only at the Blue Crab House.
Mia here for MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that's got your back. No fluff, no second guessing, straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we've got you covered. Step 1, use our promo code 1010XL. That will double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders has been printing money. Stack that with MyBookie's Risk-Free Thursdays. Why wait? That's right there, a new risk-free odds boost every Thursday. To find the bet, click the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now and get your double deposit bonus with MyBookie, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
Ow! Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door,
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 19, 1984, hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, at the age of 23, becomes the youngest NHL player and 18th player to score 1,000 points.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me. And I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 Balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Deck the halls with pipes a-leaking, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Oh no! Don't let plumbing ruin your season, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's go!
Uh-oh. Got a clog or a leak messing with your holiday cheer? Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're the reindeer of repairs. Fast, reliable, and ready to slay your plumbing problems.
Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la, hooray!
904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. We're flushing your worries away this holiday season.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. And Greg, when you start to shift from warmer weather into some cooler weather, you can get on the road. What has Honda got to offer?
Honda's got a bunch of great bikes. They've got the new e-clutch technology, which means you can ride without using your clutch.
And I love the fact you can go automatic on a bike, which was unheard of for a while.
It was for a long time, and Honda has mastered it.
You can log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, see all they have to offer, or drop by the showroom. They're on Atlantic near Regency. That's Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Raiders come up this Sunday at 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. The combined records are 5-23. It is what it is. Not a lot of playoff positioning on the line on Sunday, but there is some draft positioning, which we'll get into in just a moment. Let's recap the Jets game. Let's look ahead to the Raiders, and let's talk about big picture items with the Jaguars with a former Jacksonville Jaguar wide receiver. My buddy Cecil Shorts is with us every week here on 1010XL. Cecil, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, RG. How about you?
Cecil, we're good. Thank you for the time. And I've been wanting to ask you this all week. I asked Leon Searcy earlier this week, got his reaction. You as a former player, I'll ask you the same thing. To me, last week was perfect. The young guys looked good. I was entertained for 3 hours. And in the end, the Jaguars lost a hard-fought game, which ultimately helps them long-term. Your thoughts?
Oh, man, I would agree. The young guys did look good. Look what I seen from Strange. I tell you what, Mac Jones, like he was having a good time. Besides the interceptions, his interaction on the field, him dancing a little bit, giving first down signals, hopping around. It was cool to see him have a good time. And I consider him a young guy as well, right? But I understand where you're coming from. I do not know if I'm the same way because I don't know who the GM will be. I'm not sure who the head coach will be. Will it be the same guys this year? Will it be new guys? And do I trust them to make the right decision, right? Of course, as a player, you want to win games. But at the same time, as a fan, it's like, do I trust the organization to make a right choice with a draft pick? I'm not sold. I'm on that. So was it a good Sunday for the competitive part to see the young guys? Yes. Draft position, I'm still a little iffy about. But we'll see how it goes.
My whole thing, draft position was important, but I'll tell you another reason why I thought that, and I think you and I briefly talked about it last week. I didn't want to give Shad Khan any inkling of a 5-game winning streak to think, oh, these guys can turn it around, right? I think that was a big factor last week in the loss, and that's what I kind of hope happens over the next 3 weeks, to be honest with you.
That's a great point. I think that's a solid point. You don't want Shad to feel like, oh, well, he's got these guys routed up for the last X amount of games. We probably should keep these guys around. No. I think it's time to, honestly, my opinion, I think it's time to move on, bring some different ideas and thoughts and some leadership in there, see how they can get things going. That's a great point by you. See the young guys play well, and then see what happens from there.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Cecil, your thoughts on Brian Thomas Jr., 100 yards receiving, a couple of touchdowns. He's now the Jaguars' all-time rookie receiving yardage leader and rookie touchdown in a season leader. He's going to set the catch number, I believe, this week as Brian Thomas Jr. puts his names in the Jaguar history book last week.
Special talent, man. Need to continue. I love how they used him early on. I think that was awesome how they, last week they didn't really give him the ball to the second half. This week it was spread out throughout the game. Short little screens, short little quick game to get him going early, make guys miss. But he's just a special talent, man. There's nothing this guy can't do. Early touchdown. The Jags started fast, which is a rarity. So it was good to see them start fast. But the way BTJ, what he brings to the game, his speed, his athleticism, he's getting more comfortable running routes. His confidence is sky high. This dude is a special talent. He got the chance to be one of the best ones in the league for a long time.
Now, I was doing some research. Brian Thomas Jr. is already in the top 35 of Jaguar receiving totals in franchise history, which is wild, at 956 yards. He'll be in the top 30 by the end of the year, barring injury. And I want to talk to you about that in a moment, but off the top of your head, do you know where you are in the Jaguar receiving record books as far as yardage in a Jaguar uniform?
Somewhere in the top 500. I don't know.
You were actually, I think, you believe it or not, and not that I'm surprised, you were very good here. You know you're number 9 in yardage in Jaguar history. You're in the top 10.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 2,343 yards is what you had here. That ranks you 9th. You're just behind Fred Taylor and just ahead of Reggie Williams in Jaguar receiving history.
I would not have guessed that. But I tell you what, in about a year, you'll see BTJ way up there. He'll be in the top 10. He's a special, special dude, man. Like 1,000-yard season your rookie year. I think he just broke Justin Blackman's record. He had the rookie record, right? 800 something.
He did, 865, and he blew right by that.
And then actually, two of my teammates, then Alan Hearns, he broke that's the touchdown record he broke too, right?
I believe so, yeah.
With 7. So he is a special talent, man. Like I don't know. I think he is the best player in your offense, and you have to continue to surround that offense, make the offense surround around him some type of way, right? So continue to build. I love what I've seen from Strange and Washington, but continue to build around that particular kid because he got something special going.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. By the way, you're 9th in yardage. You're still 12th in receptions in Jaguar history. So you're all over the top 10, top 15 in these history books. Cecil,
I'll take it.
You mentioned Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. You lived this life for over 7 years in the NFL. You're very aware how it's a business, more so than most. The way Washington and Strange have looked, does that give you pause as to the futures of Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram here in Jacksonville?
It does make you think. It honestly does. With the aging of those particular players, with their contracts, with those particular players, and the way Washington and Strange has come along, especially Strange, where it seems like every time Evan Ingram is out, he steps up in a major way and makes plays down the field. And Strange had, 11 catches? I don't think he had one catch longer than 9 yards, but he's reliable. He's getting open. He is in the right spot at the right time. And to have 12 targets in a game, your quarterback is trusting you. You know what I mean? Like you're in the right spot at the right time. That says a lot, especially for, I believe he's a rookie. So especially for a rookie. And then Parker Washington, second year in the league, learned from Christian Kirk, learned from those older guys, Gabe Davis and others in the room, and is able to go out there and make some plays, man, when his number is called. And he can do some things, too, on the return game when his number is called back there as well. So those two guys definitely are honestly cheaper. And they're showing some production, so they can continue that the next 2 or 3 games. I think you got some real questions on your hand. Do I need to bring back Christian Kirk? Do I need to bring back Evan Ingram?
Take us inside the mind of a wide receiver when it comes to Devontae Adams last week. He was in the zone, right? I mean, that was wild in the second half. And amazingly, Cecil, I don't know what the game plan was on defense, but a guy that had torched you for like 140 yards, you just leave wide open with under 2 minutes to go. That was an interesting defense the Jaguars were running last week.
Not the best to me, and it's tough because you got Garrett Wilson and you got Devontae Adams, right? But when a guy gets in the zone, you want to be as physical as possible with them. With those receivers, in my opinion, you want to be as physical as possible with them at the line of scrimmage, making them no clean releases, doubling one of them at least as much as you can, trying to take at least one of them out of the game. But so I was confused why he was kind of just free releasing and just running, his out routes and his over routes and all this type of stuff wide open in the flat. I'm just like, what is going on when you have a guy, especially when he turns that second half into that second half? It looked like the old Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. They were in the zone, man. And Devontae, when you're in that zone, it's hard to get out of it. But for a defense, you got to get hands on them. Like, you have to literally, it can even be this, like, put your second best corner on Devontae, right, and have him just be physical with some safety help over the top. and then put your best corner on Garrett Wilson, you live with the results, right? And possibly at times just be physical with him and see what you can do, because he's a slender build type of guy. But just to leave him wide open and just have him running free off the line of scrimmage and not trying to press him as much as you should have, and not trying to get him out of the zone or distract him or something is a little confusing for me. But hey, there's a reason why you're 3-11, I think it is now. There's a reason why, Devontae is who he is, Aaron is who he is, but it's also a reason why you're 3-11, so not surprised.
Couple more for former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, they can say all the right things publicly. It's the holidays. You're 3-11. You're going to play a 2-12 team. You're going to, of all places, Las Vegas. I mean, where is this team mentally, in your opinion, heading into Sunday?
Just being honest, a lot of these guys, because I've been there before, they'll play hard, but they're ready for the season to be over. And that's just what it is. At this point in the season, the playoffs are way out of control. You don't know what a lot of the future is for the organization. And again, these guys are play hard because they're playing for their livelihood. They're playing for, to continue to play in the NFL. But it's hard not to be able to, think about, man, I can't wait till these 2-3 weeks over. I'm ready to get up out of here. It's just been a rough year. That's just common feeling. That's just a common thing for players, just being honest with you in that situation. So locker room, I think they're ready to get out of there. I think they'll play hard. They'll give it their all. But at this point, there's not much hope left in that locker room. You know what I mean? It's just not, because you have no idea what's going to happen with the head coach and GM. You have no idea what's going to happen with the future. You have no idea what's going to happen in certain positions. And it's like, okay, let me get through the season healthy. Make sure I have no injuries to myself. You play hard, try to win. If not, okay. And then let's see what happens next. So it's definitely not a healthy, in my opinion, a healthy mindset when you're 3-11. Going into Las Vegas, which is Sin City, and they got a Raiders opponent that they probably can beat, and hopefully they do. But the mindset is, man, I'll be honest with you, I've been there before. It's tough to get extremely fired up and ready to go when you're 3-11 at this point.
Final Jaguar question. I want to end with an AFC South thought. Final Jaguar question for you. I mean, you look at the situation at being 3-11, and you look at where they are and the disappointment that this season has taken its toll. Joshua Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, the defensive line, those guys have performed adequately. Not as good as last year, but they've been adequate. Cecil, after those guys, it's embarrassing. And I don't know if you've seen this or not. Roy Robertson-Harris was traded 9 weeks ago. He hasn't played a game in a Jaguar uniform since London in week 6, I believe. He's still tied for third on the team in sacks with 2.
Wow.
I mean, that's preposterous, right? That's almost general manager malpractice. After Walker and Hines-Allen, they have nobody to affect the opposing quarterback.
That is disturbing. And that's something that needs to be addressed this offseason, man. And it starts with the higher ups, the GM and the head coach. Do you bring these guys back? That's the question, in my opinion. Do you bring these guys back? If so, why? I need a legit answer. And if not, who are you going to get? And then you have to address that defensive line. I mean, for a guy to be traded and it still is third in the league in the team for sacks at 2. Not like he got 7 or 8, he has 2. That's disturbing. That's the issue. You're not getting enough pressure. You're not getting what you signed up for, especially with a lot of the guys you brought in the off season. So it's been a disappointing thing for the Jaguars this season. Hopefully they can end on a positive note the last few games.
The Texans last week, Cecil won the division almost by default. Indianapolis is below average. Tennessee and Jacksonville are terrible. The Titans have benched Will Levis. But you are a former Texan as well. Were they celebrating a division championship, or do they know how much work they have to do as the playoffs approach?
They know how much work they had to do. They got a gauntlet. They had the Dolphins, who offensively normally is pretty good with the weapons that they have, and their defense. The Texans defense showed out last week, and they're playing at an extremely high level. But the Texans offense is still behind, and that's what's going to be the key. How good can C.J. Stroud and that offense be to make a deep playoff run, right? But also, They have the Ravens and the Chiefs this Saturday, and then the Ravens on Christmas Day. And those are 2 playoff type games. And that will really show you where you are in that AFC. So it wasn't a lot of celebrating. It was kind of expected. That's what they came out to do. And we'll see how it goes this weekend. But they're excited. 2 years in a row. It's back-to-back AFC South champions, but they have their mind on bigger things.
Yeah, they should, and it's going to be an interesting game this week against Kansas City. They might see Kansas City in the postseason coming up here in a couple of weeks. Former Jacksonville Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. You get him every week here on 1010XL, and yes, he is still top 10 in receiving yardage in Jaguar franchise history. Cecil, happy holidays to you and your family. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, happy holidays to you too, RG. See you later.
He wore 56 and played a key role in their best season ever.
I'm your tape translator, Jeff Logan, on Check the Tape Tuesday on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Napa Auto Care. Tuesdays during football season on 1010XL.
Hey guys, it's your boy E.T. And you need a little extra boost in the bedroom? Blue Chew is what you need. By now, you probably know that Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. So what you waiting for? Blue Chew is all online. No doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Plus, it ships right to your front door in a discreet package. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strengths for your prescription. Guys, if you don't like swallowing pills, no problem. Blue Chew is chewable. And ready for a great offer? How about free? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month free. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. Just chew it and do it. Visit BlueChew.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
A hardworking student athlete deserves recognition.
Catch the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Franchi Show.
On 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jags.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court: the Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Week 16, Thursday Night Football. A big one in the AFC West. Denver and the Chargers. We got 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. We are tied 7-7. Denver sitting at 9-5 on the year. The Chargers sitting at 8-6 on the year. Denver would currently be the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs. The Chargers would be the 7th and final seed in the AFC playoffs. 7 apiece. Bo Nix has led a touchdown drive. Justin Herbert responded by leading a touchdown drive. Boy, raise your hand if you had Bo Nix being better his rookie year than Caleb Williams. I'm willing to bet not a lot of hands are being raised right now. Bo Nix is now throwing for over 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks as it stands right now. There were a lot of questions about Bo Nix, but he's answered darn near every one of them. I mean, he looks like he's going to be the guy in Denver, and he's probably only going to get better from a guy that, quite frankly, just wasn't very good at Auburn at times, to a guy that goes to Oregon that turned out to be awesome, gets drafted in the first round, some say overdrafted by Sean Payton in Denver, and now he's going to be in legit conversation for Rookie of the Year. What a football career Bo Nix has had, and he's still a very, very young guy. So we'll keep you updated, but 7-7 currently, Chargers, Broncos getting towards the end of the first quarter. As we mentioned, the college football playoff begins in less than 24 hours with Indiana and Notre Dame. Before that, the Florida Gators have a bowl game tomorrow down in Tampa as they take on Tulane. We'll talk about the Gators. We'll also talk about the college football playoff. Jesse Simonton, longtime college football columnist, he's going to join me coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes here on Hacker After Dark. As far as Florida goes, you know, it's interesting. You go on social media, and basically every 5 minutes you see somebody committing somewhere out of the portal, right? I mean, look at a team like Texas Tech. I don't know hardly anything about Texas Tech. I'm willing to bet you don't either. But what I've found out in the last couple of days is whatever collective the Red Raiders are throwing out there is pretty good. Because Texas Tech has gotten 14 commitments. 14 out of the transfer portal since it opened up a week ago. USC, Florida State, LSU, North Carolina because of Belichick. There's a lot of teams that have gotten a lot of commitments out of the transfer portal. Florida is not one of them. Florida, I believe, actually only has one, and it's the punter from Michigan. They don't have anybody else. And they've brought a lot of guys on campus for visits. They haven't secured any commitments. And I know Gator fans, you're pretty upset that you've gotten no one out of the portal. But I will tell you that Florida has been very busy in other ways, man. Did you see the story that came out this morning? If you rewind the clock back 2 weeks to signing day, and if you're a recruiting guy, or even if you're not a recruiting fan, odds are, at least on that day, you heard the name Dallas Wilson. 5-star wide receiver from the Tampa area, had been committed to Oregon for almost 2 calendar years. And there was a lot of talk the morning of signing day that Florida was going to flip Dallas Wilson. And that was going to be the big get for DJ Lagway and the Gators. And it was an air out of the balloon moment, a Gordon Soley shot to the solar plexus moment for Gator Nation, at least the recruiting fans that are in Gator Nation, when Dallas Wilson went to that podium in Tampa and still made his intentions known he was going to Oregon. And then a couple of days go by, you don't really think much of it. Come to find out, you wake up this morning, 2.5 weeks after signing day, and Dallas Wilson, the 5-star wide receiver from Tampa, has asked out of his letter of intent, has asked out of his financial aid package to Eugene, Oregon. He has been granted that. Reportedly, he has been granted that because people are saying, why would Oregon let you out? Well, you set a very bad precedent if you don't. All of these guys talk to each other. All of these guys are very familiar with one another and what they're doing. And if Oregon wanted to play hardball, that was going to get out pretty quick to other recruits, both in this class and coming up through the classes in the next couple of years. That's why you let him out. If you don't want to be there, you don't force him to be there. So Dallas Wilson reportedly is asked out of his financial aid. Reportedly was granted that this afternoon. And all the reports are he's going to Florida. And it will be Billy Napier's second biggest recruiting addition right after DJ Lagway. And if Dallas Wilson comes to Florida, all 6'3", 200-pound, 5-star wide receiver of him, that would give Florida 4 wide receivers ranked in the top 70 of the 24/7 wide receiver rankings for this recruiting class. 4 in the top 70, including 2 in the top 6. Dallas Wilson, I believe, is the 4th-ranked wide receiver in America. Vernell Brown is the 6th-ranked wide receiver in America, according to 24/7. You could argue Florida would have had, at that point, the best wide receiver class in the country. Pretty good for a guy that was on the hot seat 2.5 months ago in Billy Napier. So if you bring Dallas Wilson in, again, I wouldn't put that in the good column for Gator Nation until I see it actually happen, because the Dallas Wilson recruitment has been wild, but it certainly looks good for Florida on the surface right now. And then you get back to the transfer portal. I know Gator fans are upset that you haven't been active in the portal. Well, I will go ahead and tell you, too, that Florida got the best interior defensive lineman, the best center, and the best offensive tackle they could have asked for this offseason. They didn't get him out of the portal. They got him to come back to school. And I'm talking about Caleb Banks, Jake Slaughter, and Austin Barber. You would not have found an interior defensive lineman as good as Caleb Banks. He was a projected 2nd-round pick in the NFL draft. He announced he's coming back to Florida. You would not have found a center or an offensive tackle as good as Slaughter or Barber in the portal. They have both announced they're coming back to Florida. And everybody's waiting on Tyreek Sapp, the defensive end. I will tell you, too, that I believe the reason Jack Pyburn and TJ Searcy entered the portal is probably because they know Tyreek Sapp is also coming back. That's at least the rumor out there. And if Sapp comes back too, along with Slaughter, Barber, and Banks, and you added Dallas Wilson on top of it, I wouldn't worry about the transfer portal. Florida's had a terrific offseason. Let's talk Gators Tulane, bowl game tomorrow in Tampa, and let's certainly spend some time on the college football playoff. Jesse Simonton, national college football columnist, been doing it for a long time. Always enjoyed talking college ball with Jesse. He joins me next on a Thursday evening in Jacksonville, Florida, with JJ LaSelva, the hacker Ryan Green with you. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Get inside the mind of the QB with Denny Thompson, the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, I want to tell you what's really happening at the quarterback position.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drip. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 Balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a septic tank emergency.
Don't let your holidays go down the drain. Duck Rooter's here to save your Christmas cheer. Whether it's a stubborn clog, a burst pipe, or a septic scare, we'll fix it faster than Santa can slide down a chimney. Duck Rooter. Call us now and save the day. 904-862-6769 or visit duckrooter.com. Duck Rooter, because nobody wants a silent night in the bathroom.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the product, services, best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Christmas. 0% financing, available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway. And as always, tell them Prosser sent you.
Hey, John, are you a small business owner looking to make the most of your investments?
Absolutely. And now is the time to take advantage of some incredible tax deductions.
You can qualify for a 2024 tax deduction for up to 60% of the purchase price of a brand new Cadillac.
Think Escalade, Lyric, Optic, XT5, and XT6.
We have over 100 in stock at Rainy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. It's the perfect time to upgrade your business fleet.
This is not tax advice. Consult with your tax advisor for further details and to determine eligibility, plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all and approved credit.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Walker Little of your Jacksonville Jaguars for Kingfish Pest Control. I've been a Kingfish customer for a while now and can confirm that their service is incredible. Not only do they protect my family from pests, Kingfish's office staff is the friendliest around. They even email me a photo of the tech before arriving at my home. Kingfish Pest Control is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Be sure to enter their Swat That Kick sweepstakes for free pest control for 3 years. Go to kingfishpest.com and tell them Walker Little sent you.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom, you'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The college football playoff, the long-awaited 12-team college football playoff officially kicks off on Friday in South Bend, Indiana. Of course, you got Indiana, Notre Dame, and then 3 more first-round games on Saturday in what should be a very interesting month of college football. Let's preview it with Jesse Simonton. He is a national college football columnist, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Jesse, how you doing?
Doing all right, Ryan. Doing all right.
Jesse, what about that? It's finally here, right? We've been talking about a 12-team playoff for the longest time. 4 teams was nice. Obviously, we all believe 12 teams is better. As a guy that covers college football like you do, how big, monumental, whatever verbiage you want to use, will this be over the coming month?
Yeah, I mean, I think monumental is probably a good adjective to use. I think even experimental, because I'm not sure how long this 12-team playoff is going to last. It's funny, after this is going to be the first year, and I think there's already griping about the fact that they're not reseeding and that, which seed maybe is the best. How should they actually dish out these automatic buys? I think you could see some real changes before the next playoff in 2025. And then does that mean that we're getting 14 or 16, thereafter? And so it's kind of funny, this is a brand new deal going from 14 to 12 team. And now it may not even last that long. And so monumental, experimental. And I think it's going to be a pretty fascinating first weekend in particular with, what happens with some of these, Southern teams going, to the cold weather. How much does the cold weather ultimately matter? Is the home team actually in some of these situations, whether it be Notre Dame or Ohio State, actually under more pressure than the road teams? So all in all, it makes for a very, very interesting first-time 12-team playoff.
I want to get to the games with you, obviously, in a moment, but I think you said something that I've had a problem with since the committee made their announcement on these teams last week. Look, I think if you win your conference in the Power Four, you obviously deserve a spot to be in, and I'm all for the highest-ranked Group of 5 team, conference champion, getting in. But the fact that Boise State and Arizona State have buys in this thing, Jesse, I think a lot of people have a problem with. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think that they were trying to placate and maybe, serve as many masters, so to speak, as they could when they came up with these original parameters and in terms of, the idea of quote unquote fairness and equality. And yet it has kind of penalized some of these better teams. And so I don't think this is going to be something that lasts for the foreseeable future. I think it's something that frankly could be changed again before next season. And so, the fact that you have these, I think it's already a little bit confusing when you watch these, ESPN shows for the general public, maybe not for us that follow the sport on a daily basis and really have a greater, keener understanding and are kind of in the minutia of it. But, for the average fan, I think there's also a little bit of just struggle of like, all right, so here's the rankings, but yet here's the bracket because these are the rules. It would be much simpler, I think, ultimately, if they did if you came up with a system where you either just rank the 12 teams and that is your format, and the highest teams get the buys, or if you want to do the NFL model, you could rank the teams and then, if there are the upsets, to still give that advantage to the team that earned and kind of worked their way towards that higher seed to then have a reseeded tournament. I wouldn't be upset with that either.
National college football columnist Jesse Simonton here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, Jesse, let's get to the games. Let's begin Friday night. It's interesting. I obviously don't know the history of Indiana, of the state of Indiana football and the rivalries there, but I got some Indiana buddies that are salivating at the idea of playing Notre Dame because they claim Notre Dame has been, quote, ducking them for decades. Now, look, Notre Dame I don't think is ducking Indiana, but it is weird that the two teams in the same state have not played on the gridiron since 1991. That's bizarre to me. Nevertheless, Indiana does go to South Bend. What's your opinion on this game?
Yeah, and then you go back even further than that, Ryan. I mean, the last time they played was 91, and then after that, I think it was in the 50s. It was right after World War II. And so whether Indiana or Notre Dame, has ducked their, the little brother in state, or if it's just been, that's kind of they'd rather play the Big Ten teams and some other big, more prestigious Big Ten teams, I should say. I don't know. I think this game of the four games it would be the funniest outcome in terms of if Notre Dame lost, just because, and I think that you would add the cherry on top now. That was before Marcus Freeman just got a big extension. Now that Notre Dame has already, before this playoff run, given him a huge contract raise and extension. I think mainly because there's been lots of, rumblings behind the scenes that perhaps some NFL teams, whether it's the Bears or some other teams, may come after him. If Notre Dame loses this game, I think that would be, in terms of qualifying, in terms of hilarious, because, you lose to the little brother in state when you finally get a home playoff game. Not great. I think Notre Dame ultimately, this is a little bit strength on streak. Notre Dame's running game with Love, Riley Leonard versus a top 5 Indiana rush defense nationally. I still lean the Irish. I think that they have more horses. I know they haven't been overly tested. Really, neither has Indiana. When Indiana went up against a front that was similar to Notre Dame's with Cross and some of those guys, they really struggled in that last matchup against Michigan. That was a game they were able to escape and win, but Graham and Grant and those guys really gave them problems. I could see a similar circumstance kind of happening, especially, in the frigid temperatures, I think, on Friday night.
Indiana at Notre Dame. The winner of that game will get Georgia in the quarterfinals. All right, to Saturday. Let's begin SMU and Penn State. This is one of the games you alluded to. Out of Dallas, SMU's got to go to Happy Valley, and they're predicting temperatures in the 20s up there at kickoff. Some say SMU should not be in. Just talk to folks in Tuscaloosa about that. Nevertheless, they are. Does SMU have a shot in Penn State in Happy Valley against the Nittany Lions?
Yeah, I just don't see it. I mean, maybe the change, the fact that Penn State's now having to deal with, no Bo Perbula, I think is a bit of a wild card, just because, you see the headline, they lose their backup quarterback. He is not a traditional backup quarterback for the Nittany Lions. He is kind of intimately involved in their game planning each week. Andy Koltanicki, their first-year offensive coordinator, has done a nice job finding ways to kind of mix in the two quarterback system. They'll have a bunch of plays where both he and Drew Allard would have been on the field at the same time. We've seen that a bunch. But now he's in the portal and likely is not going to be on the roster and won't be available. How does that kind of shake up what Penn State does game planning wise? They've already been rather hesitant running Drew Allard all that much. I think that they're just going to have that front seven with Abdul Carter, Denny Sutton, and those guys. I think they're just going to overwhelm what has really been, I think, a very good offense. Jennings and those guys for SMU have been really good. The transfer from Miami, who they've switched from wide receiver to running back, has been fantastic for the Mustangs. I like Rhett Lashley a lot. I'm not one of these people that thinks they did not deserve it. I think, yes, if you were going by Vegas spread or power rankings, then absolutely Alabama would have had a greater case. But SMU earned their way. And so this is their opportunity. I don't like the matchup for them. I think, when you kind of look at the entire playoff field, the fact that Penn State lost the Big Ten championship game and yet seemed to fall into perhaps the best seed in the entire tournament, again, speaks to kind of the issues with how this entire field is mocked and made up when Oregon wins the Big Ten and has arguably the most difficult path, and Penn State loses and somehow looks rewarded when you see what they're kind of facing. I like the Nittany Lions here, and I think, this is a big opportunity for James Franklin to kindly, finally prove that, Penn State can be a national player. If not now, then when. The field is set up for them to get to the semifinals, and if they don't, I think that would be a massive disappointment.
SMU at Penn State. The winner gets Boise State in the quarters. A couple more for Jesse Simonton, national college football columnist, with us here on 1010XL. All right, Jesse, Clemson and Texas. Clemson got in by winning the ACC championship. They're 0-2 already against the SEC. They lost to Georgia and South Carolina. They get their third opportunity. Texas coming off a loss to Georgia in the SEC title game. Who do you like between the Tigers and the Longhorns?
Yeah, I think this one, to me, is less about who's going to win. I would be quite surprised, frankly, if Texas did not win. I think the more interesting thing is, what has Sark learned, or what does he believe he has in his quarterback as Texas tries to reload and make a run towards the national championship? Quinn Ewers was not good against Georgia. That offensive line was once again overwhelmed against, that they had run the ball well the previous couple weeks against Kentucky, against Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got a fantastic front, but they gained nothing on the ground against the Bulldogs. Clemson is solid in the trenches, but this will be the first of, I think, many tests for Texas in terms of, what sort of offensive identity are they going to have in this playoffs. And so, frankly, I'm curious about how much Arch Manning's going to play. I think that, there was some teasing in that win over the Aggies. He then was just in for I think 2 or 3 snaps total in the SEC championship loss. I think they're going to need more out of him. Quinn just doesn't look right. Ever since he's really suffered that collarbone injury, he just hasn't had the same zip on the ball the last year and a half. Then when you add in the fact he had the oblique injury this season, so I'm less interested, I think, in the overall outcome of this game, because I would be quite surprised if Clemson was able to muster enough firepower against what I think is probably the best 1 or 2 defenses in the country with the Longhorns. But more so, what is Sark going to do, or what kind of stuff is he going to put on tape for the rest of the playoffs that as Texas tries to make a deep run here?
The winner of Clemson and Texas gets Arizona State in the quarters. And that brings us to probably the game of the week in round number 1. I think if you ask people nationally what game are they looking forward to the most, I think Tennessee and Ohio State would be the answer. Down here in the southeastern part of the country, I've seen the hashtag Tennessee takeover Apparently, they're expecting a lot of orange. Somehow Tennessee got their hands on a lot of tickets in the Horseshoe. I'm curious to see how many volunteer fans will actually be there. I've heard, anywhere from 15 to 20,000 is what they're expecting, which would be pretty wild. What's your thought on Tennessee and Ohio State on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't heard that they had gotten their hands on potentially that many tickets, but I wonder if that's kind of the sign of the anxiety that's happening in Columbus right now. This is a game where Tennessee's playing with house money. They really are. And their fans were, I think, pretty ticked off that they didn't get a home game. And yet you are having to go on the road at the Shoe at night, something they haven't played, ever. Obviously, a game in December at this venue, so that's going to be an awesome environment. Yet there's a ton of pressure on Ohio State. Ryan Day, obviously, all the narratives around him, the Anxiety Bowl, with all that. I think there's just a ton of pressure on this roster. That's the $20 million roster that did not look as such against Michigan. You had all these guys: Jack Sawyer, JTT. The list goes on of guys who came back specifically to beat Michigan, and yet now they went 0 in their career against the Wolverines. And so how do they turn around and respond? I think you can see it two ways, frankly. You can say, hey, this same thing happened to them 2 years ago, and they showed up and they nearly beat Georgia in the semifinal, in the playoffs there. And they probably would have won a national championship if they had won that game and got to play TCU. Now, I've joked before, Ryan Day that loss, I think, has carried more weight for Ryan Day than maybe any win he's ever had at Ohio State, because every time someone brings up the fact that he keeps losing to Michigan, they also circle back. Well, they almost beat Georgia. Well, they almost did. Yeah, but they didn't. If they lose this game, I think that could be it. The old comparisons to the ill-famed coach who couldn't beat the Wolverines for the past 20 years, the last time, I think those are going to end. And it's he will now be the next, head coach at Ohio State that couldn't get it done. And they may have another new one, waiting in line. So all the pressure is on the Buckeyes. I was surprised when I saw that the line opened at 7. I thought it would be a bit closer, but that speaks to the fact that folks still believe, Vegas still believes that this is a national championship team. And so who has the better quarterback might be a coin flip there between Nico and Will Howard. But I think Ohio State squeezes it out at home. I think they manage just to get enough done. But it would not surprise me at all if Tennessee pulls off the upset.
Of course, the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State gets Oregon in the quarters. Jesse, final question. We got 60 seconds. I got to ask you, Florida actually does play a bowl game on Friday against Tulane. Tulane's had a lot of people enter the portal. To me, this is the classic, well, if you win, you're supposed to. If you lose, it might be a little bit bigger story. But because Tulane's had so many portal issues, do they have a shot against the Gators on Friday?
Yeah, when you lose Mensa, which was a bit surprising just because Sumrall came back, I think Florida needs to win this game, and I think they should. They've built up that similar momentum that some of these other teams we've talked about. They have it. They're looking to kind of ride high into the 2025 off season, get ready for next season. They've circled the wagons around Billy. Now he needs to deliver another big win and kind of really cement this surprising season and say, hey, we're going to really go for it in 25 with Lagway back at quarterback.
Should be an interesting weekend in the world of college football. And, of course, the quarterfinals, the semis, and the national title game. We still have college football all the way through January the 20th. Jesse Simonton, national college football columnist. Jesse, I know you're busy. Thank you for taking time out. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Happy holidays, Ryan. Thanks, man.
Jags head coach Doug Peterson tells you what you need to know about Sunday's game.
They believe in themselves. They believe in his team.
Fridays at 4:05 on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Hey guys, it's your boy ET here. Give yourself and your partner the gift of better love in this holiday season. Let's make it a little easier for you too. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They have chewable tablets with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin. You can Blue Chew all online, too. They have licensed medical professionals to help you find the right prescription and strengths. You don't even have to go to the doctor's office or the pharmacy. And when they mail it to you, it comes right to your front door in a discreet package. Nobody but you will know what's inside. And did I mention they make it right here in the good old US of A? Blue Chew has a great offer for you this holiday season. How does free sound? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month for free. That's right, I said it, free. Turn that holiday stress into some holiday cheer. Visit BlueChew.com.
Hey gang, Dan Hicken here for America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million active members. It's Prize Picks. First things first, download the app today and use code JAX, that's JAX, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today, use code JAX, $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. How to play? All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, like, is Jared Goff going to throw for more than 230 passing yards? Will Saquon Barkley have more than 1 touchdown? Will Travis Kelce have less than 70 receiving yards? You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, which they usually do, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals. Prize Picks, run your game.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Help fight skin cancer by playing golf at the Hit 'em Straight Golf Tournament December 30th at Queens Harbor for a day of food and fun while raising money for the Melanoma Research Foundation. To sign up, call 904-507-1401.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 19, 1984, hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, at the age of 23, becomes the youngest NHL player and 18th player to score 1,000 points.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, contact Florida First Insurance Group on University Boulevard, an award-winning Florida Blue agency well known for providing superior service. Theo Mitchelson and his team at Florida First make the process easy and stress-free with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Contact Theo Mitchelson and the Florida First Insurance Group today and let your health be their priority. And a reminder for Florida Blue members, visit Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations in town offering primary care, walk-in services, and on-site pharmacy and mental health support. SANITAS Medical Center, Florida First Insurance Group, and Sanitas Medical Center, a winning team in Northeast Florida.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, 3 Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. passes on sale now at welcometorockville.com.
Homemade cookies baked fresh by Jen. Original 80s band named Ice Creams by Ray. Build your own cookie ice cream sandwiches from scratch. Cookies and cream Jack's Beach. Open till 11 Friday and Saturday, 10 weekdays. Making our beach a better place. Cookies and cream Jack's Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Back into the world of the National Football League coming up. Less than 10 minutes away. Daniel Griffiths, he of Wildcard Analytics. I really enjoy Daniel's work, man. He's a number cruncher, decimal points, trends, and it's primarily Jaguar related. If you don't follow him on social media, you certainly should. He does a good job. Again, wildcardanalytics.com is his website, and he's going to join me in less than 10 minutes to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars, the trends, what the numbers tell us about why they're 3-11 and where they should go from here. A couple of things. Week 16 of the NFL kicked off tonight. 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Big game in the AFC West. Denver on top of L.A., 21-10. How about Bo Nix? 14 of 18 for $158 and 2 touchdowns. On the road in a Thursday night primetime game, and a big one against the Chargers. The rookie from Oregon looking very good as the Broncos are up 21-10. And how about this story out of San Francisco? JJ and I just saw this. It's the holiday season, right? It's time to give back. And normally, quarterbacks will do something nice for their offensive line. I can't ever remember this. Out in San Francisco, Brock Purdy got every one of his offensive linemen, the starters and the backups, all 9 or 10 of them, a brand new 2025 Toyota truck. I mean, these things are nice. And there's just a line of like 9 or 10 of them in the 49er parking lot with ribbons on them, and each one going to an individual offensive lineman. JJ, you and I were doing the math on that. That's probably $500,000, right?
Yeah, and if it was Mahomes or Trevor or one of these quarterbacks who have this massive contract, you wouldn't even think twice about seeing that video. But just knowing that he makes like less than $1 million a year, you're like, whoa, that's quite an investment.
Well, the crazy thing is,
you know that he's about to be paid, so I guess that helps.
When you see the offensive lineman's face is walking out the door, when he's like, here you go, there's a brand new truck for all of them.
They were expecting like a cooler,
right.
Yeti cooler.
They're like, are you serious? I mean, they couldn't believe it. It's a cool video. If you haven't seen it, it's a cool video, but kudos to Brock Purdy, man. That's awesome. All right, back into the National Football League. The Jaguars and the Raiders this Sunday in Las Vegas. Let's crunch the numbers. Daniel Griffiths, wildcardanalytics.com, with a focus on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He joins me next. Thursday night, Hacker After Dark. We're glad you're with us right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Spend 2 hours talking teal every day on Jaguars Today. With Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
I got the perfect holiday gift for you. At the Blue Crab House, you spend $50, you get a $65 gift card. $50 and you get $65. Bam, the pressure's off. Located right off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road, open every day until 9 except for Monday. Get rid of the stress of holiday shopping right now at the Blue Crab House. Spend $50 and get a $65 gift card only at the Blue Crab House.
Mueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait,
but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners, so you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business. Window World, simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And be sure to check out their end-of-year sale, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
This Christmas, St. Nicholas Guns & Range is packing the gift of savings. 20% off white tag items, 10% off other in-stock firearms, and 10% off range memberships. Plus, don't miss out on our custom holsters. From premium firearms to exclusive range access, our friendly staff has everything for the shooter in your life or for yourself. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit stnickguns.com or stop by today. That's stnickguns.com, where Christmas savings hits the bullseye.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at ProjaxRoofingFL.com.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Raiders come up this Sunday at 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. The Jaguars, 3 games to go in their season. They're 3-11 on the year. Actually, a pretty big game, quite frankly. Not for playoff positioning, certainly, but with the Raiders at 2-12, the loser of this game probably much better off when it comes to April's NFL draft. Let's talk about the Jaguars. Let's talk about some of the bright spots amidst a pretty dark season. And let's do that with Daniel Griffiths. He is with wildcardanalytics.com. He crunches the numbers. And Daniel is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Daniel, how are you, man?
Hey, doing very well. I'm getting ready for the holiday season, so I'm excited to talk Jaguars.
Hey, Daniel, we always appreciate the time. All right, you're a numbers guy. You're a decimal points guy, and I love it. And, look, 3-11 is what it is. The season has been a disaster, and we'll certainly get to Doug Peterson and we'll get to Trent Baalke and your thoughts on their futures in a moment. But I did want to have you on to kind of point out some bright spots amidst a pretty miserable season. And obviously the biggest shining star for this team, Daniel, has got to be Brian Thomas Jr. The fact the Jaguars got him at 23 in the draft and picked up additional picks for the 2025 draft is actually a pretty good job by Trent Baalke because Brian Thomas Jr. needs to be in real conversation for NFL Rookie of the Year. He has been sensational to this point.
Yeah, he's really surprised me. I was in the go draft a corner camp last draft season, and the Jaguars went after Brian Thomas Jr. I had some reservations simply because he'd never been a wide receiver one because he was sat at LSU behind Malik Neighbors, and he's come in and I think he's shattered even the most optimistic Jaguar fans' expectations. Guy's been incredible. He's among the best NFL receivers right now, not named Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. You look at yards, he's 8th in yards. He's tied for 5th in touchdowns. He's tied or broken all Jaguars rookie receiver numbers. He just needs one more catch, and he will have the trifecta of receptions, yards, and touchdowns as a Jaguar rookie. And he's making some noise after the catch, too. He's 4th in yak among all NFL receivers. So, I mean, it's incredible what he's doing. And the Jaguars are starting to find some ways to be creative with him. We saw 2 almost back-to-back screens this past week, very early on in the game on that first drive. Really made a focus to get him the ball early, which is something that the Jaguars have struggled to do in games. I look at the Minnesota game, the Eagles game, and the Titans game, where it just seemed like they didn't get him the ball or really target him at all until late in the second half. So I was really happy to see that. And I think it made the offense run a lot smoother, especially early on in that game, something that the Jaguars have struggled with all season.
Well, they're finally force-feeding him the ball, I agree, which is a good thing. And I saw a stat earlier this week. Brian Thomas Jr. is only one of, I believe, 2 receivers. I want to say maybe Terry McLaurin's the other one. Don't quote me on that, though. That has at least 900 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns. It's been targeted fewer than 100 times. I mean, you mentioned he's in the top 10 in all these individual receiving stats in the NFL, but yet he's like 20th in targets, which goes to show you he's doing much more with much fewer opportunities.
Yeah. So he's, I think he's tight. Yeah, I think he's 20th in targets. And he, it goes to show what a big playmaker he is. It's not only that, he's racking up all these yards and touchdowns as if it's, just because they're force feeding the ball. Similar to like a Malik Neighbors. Not that I'm talking ill of Malik Neighbors. I think he's a fantastic player, but that's, they're getting him the ball. He had one game where he had 18 targets, which is unfathomable as a Jaguars fan with what we've got going on with BTJ. But and I also want to mention BTJ in the slot. He's tied for first in touchdowns with 6. And he's tied for second in yards per route run from the slot, 3.21. So he's doing really well there. And he's also somehow 10th in yards on screens. We saw those 2 screens that I mentioned earlier last week. So he's really making opportunities count when the Jaguars get the ball in his hands in advantageous positions.
Daniel Griffiths, wildcardanalytics.com, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Daniel, I saw you posted on X earlier this week about the Jaguar offensive line. A much maligned offensive line, certainly last year and at times this year, but going by the numbers, going by the analytics, which is what you do, the offensive line has actually been pretty good this year.
Yeah, and pass blocking, they're playing pretty well. The Jaguars are the 5th least pressured team. It certainly helps. There needs to be some added context to that, because it certainly helps that Trevor Lawrence gets the ball out really, really fast. And Mac Jones has actually been doing a decent job as that as well. The Jaguars are incorporating some screens, which I think helps Mac Jones out. He took a pretty bad sack this past weekend. That's going to look really badly on the Jaguars offensive line. But they haven't done really that bad at all. Anton Harrison had a really rough start. He's kind of turned it around. Walker Little has been great since coming in for Cam Robinson. So that's been really something that I'm happy to see. We saw Mac Jones in the preseason struggle really badly behind our backup offensive line, and I'm glad that our starting offensive line is treating him much better this season. I will say there is a negative to the offensive line. I know we're talking positives, but the Jaguars are yet again now 32nd in yards before contact per attempt via next-gen stats.
Yeah, that's certainly not good, although they did run the ball reasonably well against the Jets. I think ETN averaged like 4 yards a carry. Bigsby was right about 4 yards a carry. So that was nice to see. I just don't think they ran the ball enough, to be honest with you. The other positive, Daniel, I wanted to talk about on offense, because obviously the negative is primarily on the defense, is I want to talk about Brenton Strange. 12 targets against New York, and he caught 11 of them. Now, only for 73 yards. You'd like to see 11 catches for, upwards of 100 yards, but 11 for 73. But what I loved out of that is he was targeted 12 times. He caught 11 of them. That is really, really good production for the second-year tight end out of Penn State.
Yeah, he was taking some shots, too, on some of those catches. Some of those were he got lit up a couple times. Mac was putting him in situations where he was going to have to make a tough catch and hold on to the ball, and he did that. And funnily enough, now with some injuries, Brenton Strange is second on the team in snaps among Jaguar skill positions. It's BTJ and it's Brenton Strange. So it's funny how two really, really young guys are now the focus of your offense, and I think that they likely will be going forward. We've seen Brenton Strange this year quite a bit, unfortunately due to injuries to Evan Ingram, and I thought he's really shined. Last year we didn't get to see too much of him, and I'm happy that he's really getting his opportunities this year. There's nothing too standoutish about his production this year, other than he's performing as well as Evan Ingram generally does. He just doesn't have the targets that he generally would if Evan Ingram wasn't on this team. But yeah, he's playing so well.
Couple more for Daniel Griffiths, wildcardanalytics.com. Daniel, a lot of positives offensively when it comes to analytics. I would imagine it's the exact opposite on defense. They can't affect the opposing quarterback. The secondary is awful. They miss a lot of tackles. I mean, it's been a borderline disaster for the most part on defense, correct?
Yeah, there's a couple of bright spots. Jerry and Jones, I thought has played very, very well for a mid-round rookie. He's given up the same amount of yards as Tyson Campbell per next-gen stats, 305 yards on the season, 81.5 quarterback rating. He leads the Jaguars corners with that stat. And he's also PFF's sixth highest graded run defense corner. So that's something cool to see, especially for a guy his size. He's not the biggest guy in the world. So that's awesome. I thought that he's played extremely well this season. And Tyson, for the most part, he's gotten beat a couple games. Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then previously this weekend, Devonta Adams. But Gus Logue posted the other day from Baycat Country and 1010 that the Jaguars are 32nd, the worst team in the NFL against wide receiver twos. Against wide receiver ones, they're 6th best.
Wow.
So that's a not Tyson Campbell tweet. That's a Travis Hunter, Will Johnson tweet. So that's something that I thought was really interesting. It's been wide receiver twos really killing the Jaguars secondary this season.
That's interesting. So if it were you, and again, the Jaguars are going to have a top 10, certainly, maybe a top 5 pick in the draft, depending on these next couple of weeks. If it were you, would you go corner in round 1?
Yeah. If Mason Graham's there, I maybe think about that, but I think Will Johnson and Travis Hunter are really, really good players. I'm interested to see, not Jaguar specific, but I'm interested to see what the NFL does with a player like Travis Hunter, simply because he plays both sides, and there's just no world where he plays full time like he did at Colorado. He'd be playing the equivalence of 34 NFL games. So I don't see that happening, but I am curious to see whatever team drafts him, what that'll look like in the NFL. And if it's the Jaguars, I'll be doubly more interested.
Final moments, Daniel Griffiths, Wild Card Analytics. Daniel, is the pass rush on defense as bad with the analytics as it looks in person?
Probably worse. They're 31st in pressure rate, 31st in time to pressure, 30th in sacks. It's really, really not good. I tweeted the other day, it's actually not true anymore because Jeremiah Ledbetter is now tied with Roy Robertson-Harris. But until this past weekend, Roy Robertson-Harris was still the sole member. He was 3rd in sacks with 2 on the team. Now Ledbetter and Roy Robertson-Harris both have 2. But Roy Robertson-Harris is still tied for 3rd on the team at sacks, a player who has not been on the team since week 6.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the week, and it was you that tweeted that out, and that's wild. Again, he was traded during the London games, so you're talking about, early to mid-October, and here we are in mid-December, and he's still tied for 3rd in sacks. That's general manager malpractice. I mean, if I knew, you knew, everybody knew they had trouble affecting the quarterback last year after Walker and Hines Allen, and an entire offseason goes by and the Jaguars did nothing to address that other than bring in a 30-year-old defensive lineman with a bad knee who they persist to play outside instead of inside, and Eric Armstead, that to me is a real problem. And that does get us to Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. Daniel, look, you interact with a lot of Jaguar fans, and I'm curious your perspective on this. To me, there's a thought that people certainly expect there to be change at the head coaching position. They're nowhere near as certain there's going to be change at the general manager position. What is your thought on all that?
Yeah, there's a quote that Jeremy Foley had, and it's something to the effect of Jeremy Foley, the Florida AD, things that need to be done in the future should probably be done now. It's something to that effect. I don't remember the exact quote, but I think that's kind of where the Jaguars are with Trent Baalke. Is you probably know that it's not going to work out ever with Trent Baalke in Jacksonville, and I think that it's best to always get a clean start with GM and head coach. It's very hard you're pigeonholing yourself if you only get rid of one of them. And then the other just has a excuse to use against you later on. Hey, it wasn't my fault. It was his fault. He's been here, the entire time. This is the roster he built, XYZ. This isn't a good team. I will admit that right now, I think the sum is less than, or the whole is less than the sum of the parts. I do think that there are some decent players on this team. You look at the Trayvon Walkers, the Josh Hines Allens, the Jerry and Jones, the Tyson Campbells, the BTJs. This team shouldn't be as bad as they are. But nevertheless, the Jaguars had the opportunity to get so much better this offseason, and they've somehow gotten so much worse. And that's an indictment on both the general manager and the head coach and the coaching staff. The Jaguars drafts this year, it wasn't that bad, but at the same time, it has done nothing to help the Jaguars in the win column. BTJ is a star, but pretty much right now he's your only star. So I think that the Jaguars need to get a clean slate. I certainly think that the fan base is in need of that, especially. This is it's becoming grimmer by the week, and I don't want fans. The worst thing you can ever do is have an apathetic fan base, because then you no longer have a fan base. It's much better to be to have fans that are critical of you than fans that don't care at all. And I feel like the longer they wait with this, we near that stage.
Well, the bottom line is Trent Baalke, as the general manager, is 24-41 here in Jacksonville. Him and Doug Peterson together are 21-27, and they're 4-16 in their last 20. You can be the biggest defender of either guy, both guys, but the numbers don't lie. You're a numbers guy. The numbers speak for themselves. That is nonsense that they've lost 80% of the games over the last 20 regular season contests. Daniel, quickly, tell us about Wildcard Analytics, man. What can people look forward to when they head on over to the website?
Yeah, I just try to keep up with the Jaguars and the NFL in general. I recently noticed that the Jaguars have had a 40% drop in crosser route percentage since 2022 when they were in the playoffs. And that's something that I thought was really, really interesting, especially the reason I thought of it was that BTJ 56-yard crosser against Houston. And I was like, dang, I want to see a lot more of that. And he actually had one where he was pretty open this past weekend. But, there's more ways to use speed than just verticality. And I'd love to see the Jaguars be a little more creative with how they use BTJ. They were this past week, so that was awesome to see. But yeah, just noticing trends, maybe, backing some claims out there. Hey, the Jaguars, look terrible right now run blocking. Well, yeah, they're 32nd in the NFL. So just giving some people some extra context to support their hypothesis or disprove some. So I just try to give fans as much information as I can to help them better understand the team and the players.
If you like analytics, if you like decimal points, number crunching when it comes to football, head on over to Wildcard Analytics with Daniel Griffiths. Daniel, always appreciate the time. Happy holidays to you and your family. We'll talk soon, pal.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to Daniel Griffiths of Wildcard Analytics for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Really enjoy Daniel's work. If you don't follow him on social media, you should. It's all about the number crunching. It's all about the decimal points, the trends in the NFL. If you're a fan of analytics, and I know a lot of you are, that is a valuable resource to go to for Jaguar content, no question about it. From the offensive line rating to what they've done with the young guys to the target shares. I mean, you name it. It's an overload of information. I kind of know that's where football fandom is going now. You see the emergence of PFF and all these websites. Well, Wildcard Analytics is right there with you, and we certainly appreciate Daniel for taking time out for us. And again, his website is more a Jaguar view than anything else. So Jaguar fans, I certainly think you will enjoy his content. So we talked a lot about the Jaguars. Obviously, they travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders on Sunday. This is my final show of the week, so my final thoughts on that game. I hope it's an absolute replica of last week. I hope Brian Thomas Jr. looks good. I hope Brenton Strange, if he plays, looks good. Same thing with Tank Bigsby, Parker Washington, all the young guys. Defensively, I hope Trayvon Walker and Ventrell Miller, Jarian Jones, Mason Smith, they all go out there and they do their thing. But at the end of the day, despite the fact that I want the young guys to perform well, if the Raiders win the game, I'm not going to be all that upset about it. You guys know this by now. I don't care about positive momentum going into the offseason. For me, it's about draft positioning, and it's about ensuring that change is made here in Jacksonville. So, again, I don't want the Jaguars to lose 50-0, right? I'm not saying that. If they lose 50-0, there is a certain different conversation to be had at that point. But assuming it's an exact replica of the Jets game, entertain me for 3 hours. Young guys perform well, but ultimately you lose a hard-fought game in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to be all that upset, truthfully, about that. And that's kind of, I think, where we're going to land because the game is in Las Vegas, even though I don't think the Raider fans want to win this game at all. Obviously, the players and the coaches do out there. So give me the Raiders some way, somehow. I'll say Las Vegas 21, Jacksonville 20. How about that? I think the Raiders get it done in the fourth quarter and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very busy Thursday night edition here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. And Daniel Griffiths of Wildcard Analytics for joining us this evening. Thank you to David Waters, the host of the Gators Breakdown podcast. Again, Florida and Tulane tomorrow. Bowl action down in Tampa. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL as Billy Napier looks to end year number 3 with his first bowl victory. You would expect Florida to have a relatively easy time of it. Tulane's had all sorts of transfer portal issues. Their starting quarterback is not going to play. I believe their 2 best starting defensive linemen are not going to play. The game is in Tampa, so it should be a borderline Florida home game. So give me the Gators tomorrow in Tampa over Tulane and to get their 8th win of the year, and they would end their season at 8-5. Also, thank you to Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar wide receiver, for joining us in hour 1 tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Always love talking Jaguar football, looking around the NFL and more with former Jaguar, my buddy Cecil Shorts. Again, my final show of the week as far as the college football playoff. Give me Notre Dame over Indiana tomorrow night. Give me Penn State over SMU. I'll take Texas. I thought about it, but I'll take Texas over Clemson and give me the Buckeyes over Tennessee. I've been going back and forth on that one literally hour by hour, but I think I am going to settle in and take Ohio State to win that game. Again, final show of the week for me. I'll be heading down to the most happiest magical place on earth. We're taking a little hack down to see Mickey Mouse tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a terrific Friday and a fantastic weekend. The next time I talk to you will be on Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Raiders go final. It'll be a late night edition. We'll probably start about 9 o'clock, 9:30 or so. But Leon Searcy and I will have the 5th quarter for you right here on 1010XL, 2 hours, again, after the Jaguars and the Raiders go final. JJ LaSelva was your producer tonight. JJ, thank you as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for listening to a Thursday night edition here of Hacker After Dark and really listening all week long, as we always tell you, and we cannot possibly tell you enough how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have a fantastic remainder of your Thursday evening and a terrific weekend, and I will talk to you Sunday night, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Raiders for the 5th quarter. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.